I'm out here with Blue Pill. Last time we was in Harlem. Now the brother made his way to Brooklyn. I want to touch on a few current events with you, Blue.
Yes, indeed.
And get your outtake on them. You know, the psychological, metaphysical, social, political, whatever impact they're having on our community. And maybe you can help us figure things out. Are they distractions? You know, are they tied astrologically with things? You know, whatever. But I want to ask you.
Right.
I want to start, Blue, with this something that the black community is familiar with, and I want to touch on it because we all grew. I don't know about all of us, but a lot of people I know grew up getting spanked, getting whooped with a belt, different things.
Or switch.
Let's keep it real. Or switch. Now we got the situation with the brother Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Now we are living in the throes of the age of hypocrisy. We're living at a time where, right, society is telling you if you don't raise your children right, and your children are so unruly, we're gonna execute your children in the street. Peace, my brother. Yes, indeed. So. And then the flip side of that, then they're telling you, all right, you haven't raised your children right, your children are unruly, your children are thugs, you know what I'm saying? The police gonna execute them in the street. But then they're telling you, we object to how you raising your children.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
So, once again, the quote-unquote black families caught in this catch-22, you know what I'm saying? Well, they're like, damn, you're telling me that I'm not raising my children properly. You're telling me that my children are unruly, you know what I'm saying? And they're subjecting themselves to this brutalizing force, right? For the police in any town, USA. And then you're telling me that you're objecting to an age-old tradition of how children were raised, you know what I'm saying? For hundreds of years in the South, and how that has spread. It's not only in the South, because I know people from the Caribbean who have been subjected to the switch and things of that nature.
Now, but the thing is, Blue, is this something that we adopted from slavery?
It has a connection to slavery as well, which is psychological. It has psychological implications to the fact that, yeah, it may be connected to certain aspects of slavery as well, you know? But then it's like, okay, they want us to exclude that out of our rearing process, okay? But nobody has said what it should be replaced by, one. Two, again, you only want to attack certain elements of what's connected to slavery by excluding others and denying that they even exist. Okay? And three, it's none of my motherfucking business what somebody does in their home with their child. Okay? But four, it's also the state telling you that that child is not your child. Okay? And five, we still want to exclude and, you know, deviate from the larger conversation that's taking place, which is that the state reminding you that these children are not your children, they're wards of the state. Right? So, again, we're going back to a situation of when domestication of a species is taking place, where you have this controlling force that wants to control every aspect of your life. They want to tell you what you're doing behind closed doors. They want to tell you what you're doing in open. They want to control everything. They want to criminalize everything. And it's just, again, like I said, the quote-unquote black man just taking this terrible, terrible hit in the media. You feel me? But everything that you're doing is criminalized. Everything that you're doing is wrong. So we already cleaned up. We're showing you what, you know, we're going to clean up. You're stealing cigarillos out the store, you're subject for execution in the street. You're spanking your child with a switch, you're taking all your money. You know what I'm saying? You and your wife have
domestic dispute.
Some domestic dispute, and it's an elevator, even though you're in a public space, right? But you're in the elevator, so you would think on the assumption that that's a private setting.
Right.
You and her got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? or her family got to deal with that, or her extended family got to deal with that, or your team should deal with it, or your place of employment, but you got to deal with it with the whole fucking world, with the whole country. How is that? Because you got a camera all of a sudden? So now it's public. It's open to public review. I don't get that.
Blue, why do they want to continue to vilify the black man when they have done a great job at doing that already? Why continue to put out these images and release this type of information when the world already feels how they feel about the black man? Do they have to do this?
There's obviously a campaign taking place, and there's obviously more to come behind that, right? Once you destroy a person or assassinate a person's character, then comes the assassination. You know what I'm saying? So there has to be a deneutering, there has to be a complete destruction and annihilation. This is still the man who considers himself the baddest man on the planet. You feel me? For whatever reason. And you know, there are other people that have had a thorough beef with you know, and like George Bush said from day one, this is a crusade. So why would it end? It's not ending. You still standing here, I'm still standing here, you know what I'm saying? We might think that, you know, our quote-unquote image is destroyed globally or what have you, but I think that, you know, the agenda is a lot more far-reaching than that.
Do you think if we took responsibility for our actions, they wouldn't be able to pull this off? As far as if Ray Rice wasn't abusing his wife in the elevator, there would be no conspiracy to talk about. If Adrian Peterson wasn't beating his child, there would be nothing to talk about. And the list goes on and on. So for those that say we got to stop giving them a reason to even have something on us, what do you have to say about that?
I have no choice at the time. Now that I'm old enough,
I mean,
that is not me being at that table.
That's like
I'm speaking on behalf of
feeding a dog something for so long, and that dog is going to be rabid, but then you want to discipline that dog for being rabid. It's like, well, when are you going to take the responsibility for what you've been feeding that dog? The dog is going to eat it because it's a dog. And I don't know if that's a displaced analogy for speaking of quote-unquote particular people, but then it might be. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, we don't eat our own food. We don't make our own form of entertainment. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're not in charge of the clothes that we wear. We don't technically know what's going into our physical, what's going into our temple. Everything that you digest, from what you eat, to what you hear, to what you see, you know what I'm saying? All of these things are being packaged and produced for us. We don't know what's going into them. We did a lecture a while ago that showed that, you know, they take music, they take the disc into the room, and, you know what I'm saying? They put all of this distorted sounds and shit like that into it. Even when you think that you're making your own music, it's not your music. We know that we don't make and control our own food. We know that we don't make and manufacture our own clothing. You know what I'm saying? We're not in control of the air quality. We're not in control of the water that we drink, the water that we take in showers in. So we are in a very toxic environment. Do we participate and contribute to that toxicity? Yes, we do. But are we in control necessarily in all aspects of that toxicity? No, we are not. Which leads me back to this question of the fact that we're saying, well, they've destroyed this image of the black man and this, that, and the other. But this man is still running around talking about he's God, but he's not in control of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, on the last tape, the Matrix is going to respond in due form. All of these claims that are being made, all of these claims that are being made in public and private. You feel me?
Right.
And that level of rebellion is not something that's thoroughly been beat out of the black man. You know what I'm saying? He still keeps coming back for more.
Right.
You feel me? But he keep coming back with less and less weapons. You know what I'm saying? And they guns is getting bigger and bigger. You feel me?
Right.
And they like, oh, you back again? Oh, you back again? You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Jay-Z made the papers the other day talking about the black man as God. That shit has to be destroyed and denuded. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a whole nother campaign has been planned. Like, we haven't even seen the full backhanding of that particular, you know what I'm saying, public claim.
Right. Now this thing with Jay, you talking about when he had on the chain? Or this was something more recent?
remember, everything that we seen pop off, the Don Sterling thing started on April 6th when the New York Post ran a story with Jay-Z with that chain courtside.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying, you get all this drama popping off, right? Where this conversation is about, never before have we really, it's been in our face where these dudes are like, I'm the owner of a team and this is my player. You know what I'm saying? This is my team. So we got this whole plantation talk from these quote unquote basketball owners.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm reading the Daily News and they talking about Dolan and he's like, you know, this is my team with my players and I'm paying out the pocket. All of these NBA owners now are talking about these dudes as if, you know what I'm saying, praise God, as if they players and they can only be that. Peace, my brother, how you been? All is well, man. And then you got the NFL situation, right, where this conversation is just about the owners and it's like, look, these dudes are only players. Even though in your society, these might be the richest dudes, right? Sports, athletes, and entertainers. And they're constantly reminding you, yo, these dudes got bosses. They're not owners. They're not bosses. They got bosses. You know what I'm saying? The richest amongst you are just niggas to us. They still niggas. You feel me? They showing you that in LA. They're like, yo, yeah, you might be an actress and everything, but you still a nigga. They show you that with Obama. So you might be the president of the country, but you can't play golf here, nigga.
Wow. Now, you just brought up a couple of other topics, the Obama thing, but to touch on this actress, she's from Django movie, and what do you?
Django.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you feel? What do you feel about the whole her getting stopped by the police and being perceived as a prostitute for being with her white husband?
She was getting sent up in the car. You know what I'm saying? She said that initially it was because they was making out in public and what have you. My thing is like, she's in Los Angeles, my nigga. Like, that shit is common in Los Angeles. So interracial couples is commonplace. You'll see interracial couples more than you see, you know what I'm saying, a black man and a black woman together.
Right.
Real talk. You know what I'm saying? So they have released footage of her, you know what I'm saying, when she was in the car, she was getting sent up in the car, you know.
Right.
And if people don't understand what that means, they was having sex in the whip or what have you. So it was in front of an establishment and some people called the police. Now they also released audio of her dude, and her dude was throwing her under the bus when the police came. She was like, oh, you know, pretty much she's this angry black woman and she must have just found out about, he didn't say this, but you know, she just must have found out about nationality, so she's saying the police don't have the right to do that.
Oh, her husband was saying this.
Her boyfriend.
Her boyfriend, right.
And he was like, you know, she got this issue, she still hasn't resolved the whole black and white, you know what I'm saying, thing, so.
He said that? He said that?
He said that.
Wow.
He was laughing with the police, saying, look, I understand this is the agenda, this is what you have to do. She'll understand. You know, he was just shitting on her. Just totally, you know what I'm saying, boo-hooing on her. And that's a wake-up call, not only to her, but a lot of these sisters out here think that they're gonna run to this European, you know what I'm saying, and that's gonna be the way to go to them, for them. That's gonna be the security blanket that they're looking for. You feel me?
Right.
Because in all actuality, that's what we're dealing with at this particular point. We're dealing with physical security, right? These women that are feeling a lack of physical security in the world and financial security. So they run into the white boy, he's made it acceptable, they all want to be involved in some sort of scandal, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they've just been acculturated in the way in which that's what it's going to lead to. The same way that, you know, young men of my generation have been acculturated since we came up to gravitate towards what the ideal of beauty has been in America.
Red bone, long hair, don't care. What's the videos? They
Hey,
dark-skinned sisters complaining constantly. So I get what you're saying. This the collective standard of beauty.
and I'm not co-signing it, I'm not condoning it, but I'm saying that we have been effectively marketed to that image, has been effectively marketed to us, you know what I'm saying? The ideal of beauty has been packaged and sold to us as a lighter, thinner, right, fairer version. And a lot of people psychologically have bought into that. And you know, I've had many conversations, you know, with sisters, and they have explained to me that their response to their reaction, you know, when they were growing up, the reason that they got the straight hair, the reason that some of them grew up very uncomfortable with themselves about their complexion was because the people who they objectified as, you know, as the quote-unquote catchers, you know, the men that they wanted to be with, you know what I'm saying? The people that they looked at that were the options in their eyes, the people that they wanted to be the father of their children, you know what I'm saying? The Prince Charmings to them were looking for light-skinned girls with curly hair, or straight hair for that matter. You know what I'm saying? The wavy hair, the baby hair, and all of that. You know what I'm saying? D-boys, there was pretty much, you know, like the alphas of their environment. You know what I'm saying? The people that was the most famous in school, and the people that were setting trends, and the people that were just pretty much people that everybody else looked up to. You know, this is what they was chasing. You know what I'm saying? You know, they was doing criminality and all types of other stuff to get material trappings to impress the light-skinned girls with the green eyes and shit like that. Yeah. Fat ass and what have you. And, you know, it was only a select number that was in my school when we was growing up at that time. So you had mad dudes competing for their attention. And it was going all out.
I wanna touch on there's a documentary, I don't know if it came out or it's about to come out. It's called Bottoms Up. And it's touching on America's current, they're calling it America's current infatuation with large behinds or fat asses or whatever. So DJ Vlad was interviewing, what's the name, Lord Jamal.
Okay.
And Lord Jamal was saying how this whole fascination with fat asses,
Right.
even with the brothers taking it further, you see all of a sudden artists are now talking about eating ass now. They're like, you know, we not just, you know, it's not just about the vagina. You know, Trick Daddy had to eat a booty gang. Yeah, have you heard about that?
Nah.
You missing a whole wave these young dudes is being exposed to, man.
You know what?
These dudes, but listen, but Lord Jamal basically was saying that this whole ass craze is the gateway to some gay shit. Because eventually people gonna say, well shit, I don't need vagina. It's all about the ass right now. So do you feel as though all this ass play going on, no homo, is the gateway to some homosexual behavior?
A lot of people are not cultural pundits that have been following trends, you know what I'm saying? They kind of missed the whole wave that came in the late 90s, early 2000s, porno, okay, when they started introducing anal sex, and it was widespread in Latin America, okay, like I said, going back to the acculturation that was, we were successfully marketed to the idea of beauty in the mid-90s, all the way coming up to the late 90s, was this whole aspect of, you know, the Latina, okay? So it wasn't no longer just the whole aspect of we wanted the red bone with the straight hair, with the green eyes. Now we wanted the shorty from U.G.R, right? Or the shorty from Brazil that had the bubble, okay? Now, there was a proliferation throughout the whole aspect of porno where everything was anal all of a sudden. And it just happened just like that. You feel me? You couldn't look at a Latin broad and she wasn't getting enough the anal. You know what I'm saying? And there was ATM, it was the ass to mouth, right? Dirty Sanchez and all types of other shit. So, at the same time, right, coinciding with this whole rise of everything being anal and porno, then you start seeing the increase within 2 or 3 years in blatant homosexuality. You feel me? You started seeing it in the streets more. And then you started seeing dudes coming around sagging and things of that nature, right? And now Now, when you shift the focus of somebody's sexual desires only to a butt,
Right.
into a place where excretion takes place,
Right.
strictly, you know what I'm saying? Then you have done something psychologically to debase the whole act of what sexuality encompasses. Now, if somebody has a preference, that's one thing, but when it becomes the mainstay
Right, okay.
of how one goes about choosing their sexual partner, oh, I like her, she got a fatty, I'm thinking about going up in it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
'Cause like I said, a lot of people were getting their sexual instructions from pornography. Now, I don't know if that's like mind-blowing to people, that's a revelation to some people, but that's pretty much, you know.
Yeah, people always looked at porn for moves and shit like that,
This
yeah.
is the way that
yeah.
the wave has, you know what I'm saying, kind of always went.
Right.
You feel me? And it kind of somewhat increased more and more, because like I said, with the proliferation of the DVD game, especially like in the streets, right? Where you could go to Harlem and it's litter in the sidewalk, right? This is the whole phase now where a Pinky in them or what have you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the Janet Jackme taking in the buns and Little Kim introducing it. You know what I'm saying? That whole concept. And what I'm saying, I'm not saying that it wasn't something that existed before Little Kim and Janet Jackme. What I'm saying is that now it's a part of the culture. Now it's a part of the wave. Now it's these young girls saying, well, what's that about? And these young dudes saying, what's that about? And once they trying it, right? And then they're gonna tell Shorty, well, you got to try it. And then now everybody's moving in that particular direction. And then it just goes down from generation to generation. So now you hear little shorties in high school just trying it out. You know what I'm saying? Or an episode is not complete
until they
getting that in.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? Or a dude is not even exhausting his relationship with a shorty until he get around to that.
Right.
He like, oh, I had to stick with her for another 2 or 3 months, you know what I'm saying, till I got that a-hole.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. So, Lord Jabal.
And you know, effectively, again, like I said, you have now subjected her to, you know, like, it went from, if she got some good box, she got some good throat,
to a whole new...
Yeah, a whole new, I don't even know what the word
to call it, huh?
that shit was even called, you know what I'm saying? Like, she got some good hole, or I don't even know where they got with it, with that particular thing.
Right.
But I was able to see in culture the effects of it. I've seen the way that it has deviated and went towards wherever it went towards. You know what I mean? So, like, there's a popular rapper who I'm not gonna name on camera, right? But they was like, everywhere that this dude would go, he would carry around tubes of KY jelly. You feel me? And that was his MO.
Yeah.
Right? Dude from the South, you know what I'm saying? President of a label, one of the hottest labels on the planet still to this particular day. You know, kissing his artists in the mouth, what have you. So now, when this artist is still around today, and he's been linked with some of these other rappers who they say are, there's like a whole new young generation of gay rappers, things of that nature, dudes wearing skirts and tweeting that, this person is my boyfriend and my hubby and things of that nature. It's like
Young Thug you talking about.
Yeah.
He threw out there.
You can't even tell who's who and what's what. You feel me?
Right.
Because there's so many meshings and mergers of how people are expressing themselves sexually. You feel me? Coupled with the fact that people are popping pills, and they doing all of these other things.
A lot of experimentation, right?
A lot of experimentation is taking place. So it's like the lines are blurred, B. You know what I mean? The lines are blurred. And
Now, what do you think about? I see you got the Kemetic shirts. The Hebrews have been charging a lot that a lot of this craziness was going on back in Kemet. What do you feel about them making statements like that? Like this shit ain't nothing new. The ancient Egyptians was into all this freaky, crazy.
They was running up in the Duke shoot. They was speedballing down the Hershey Highway.
Hey, that's what they say, man. They say it's on, you know. Even a debate with SETI, Brother Nazi brought up some crazy pictures, but we gonna leave that to what they saying, you know. I ain't gonna.
He brought some things up and he mentioned some things, and but I still to this day don't understand what the insinuation was.
Right.
Like, even if there was an isolated incident in Kemet, or even if it was part of the culture, what is it? Like, did it pass down to DNA? Because we're wearing the shirts, or we reinforcing it? We kind of know that it kind of must have had to taken place in Greece, and it kind of must have had to take place in Rome. And for us to be naive to think that it wasn't taking place in the church or any other place in society, you know what I mean? Again, that would just be naive of not only history in a historical sense, but you know what's taking place in this whole modern construct that we call, you know, society. But as it applies to, and then we go back to what I was saying in the first video, when in Rome, you do what the Romans do, you know what I'm saying? So the fact is, we are in Rome, and our children are thoroughly Romanized at this particular point. So whatever they're doing is considered Roman norms. Why are we still so surprised? You know what I'm saying? Again, who's taking the pulse of culture? Who's watching these things take place? Like, all right, this is what happened back then, and this is evidence of that back then thing returning to this particular time, because we're seeing this particular activity take place now. And this is how we can track our people thoroughly being involved with this particular dynamic, because these people have now become these people. Or these people have become these people.
Right.
You feel me? When in Rome. So they have a very caligulated aspect of how they do things these days.
Right.
And you have a lot of people that are trying to defend that. Yo, they're the youth, you know what I'm saying? You gotta let them do what they do. They getting turned up, you know what I'm saying? They off the pills. We used to do, no, we used to not do this. You feel me?
Right. Well, they say marijuana is the gateway drug. What you do? Is that true? You think?
Like,
to all the things that's you know that they experimenting with now?
My thing is, like, I've been in situations, you feel me, where it's like I'm with a shorty and it might be 6, 7 other 8 rooms in the crib and everybody got a shorty, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I've been in a couple of situations that was crazier than that. And niggas wasn't getting into it. Niggas was doing that.
Doing all that, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was doing that. You feel me? And it's like, and we grew up in an era that was considered a very freaky era. You know? And if that shit was taking place, that was very discreet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
okay.
That was taking place totally to somebody's own, you know what I mean, behind the doors, and that wasn't something that somebody, it just wasn't going down like that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Not to my knowledge, at least.
Right. Well, I appreciate, I gotta pack up. I appreciate this brief interview, Brother Blue Pill.
Yeah.
This is a series with the Blue Pill I'm gonna be having, y'all, so y'all gonna be seeing more of the Blue while he's in New York. I don't know what I'm gonna call this one, but we'll see you next time for part 3, Blue Pill. Any last words to close out?
MyPowerPieces.com, KingsCounty.BigCartel.com. Alright, that's KINGZKONTY.BigCartel.com. Because I heard some people, you know, asking about the
shirts
and everything,
right.
Shirts and everything. Check us out there. We might have to just do a whole series called When in Rome. You know what I mean?
Right.
To address it like that. Because a lot of what we're seeing is, like I said, society breaking down and finally revealing the underpinning of what actually is running the battery of the society.
Right.
You feel me? And we got to identify it as such. got identified as such, especially if it wants to be dealt with in a way in which people are saying, okay, well now we want solutions. How does one get out of Rome? You got to at least, you know what I'm saying, admit that you are in Rome.
In Rome in the first, right.
And I also want to say one more thing before we do hang up. Since I've been back to New York, this is like the butt capital of America. Like, I've never seen so many fatties in my life. I don't know what they put in the water.
Right.
I don't know if the milk and shit, the hormones that they put in the milk or, you know what I mean? So there's this whole aspect, and I've been wondering for a while, like, since they say that all things is mental, is it because the melanated man and his mentality is so much derriere based today?
That's a very good,
you know what I mean?
wow.
Just like with this with the white girl epidemic, you know what I'm saying? When dudes was getting into the white girl so hard, again later on in the mid 2000s, after they went through the whole Latina aspect of things, and they was getting into the white girls, and the white girls popped up with fatties everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's just something that just happened. You feel me? So it's like, all right, how did that happen? Was it the food? And if it was the food, why wasn't that effect happening all along? But then, like, you know, Ludacris coming with the dunk video and all of that shit, and you just see white girls blowing up with fatties all of a sudden. Once she became the apple of desire for the black man's eye, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
She started taking on this form that had to be, you know what I'm saying? The melanated man, pretty much. Peace, my brother. All right, we need to talk.
We go. I'm wrapping it up, Blue Pill, but part 3 definitely gonna be on this mental aspect, because the universe is mental. All is mental, brother. I appreciate the time. We gonna see you next time, Blue. Peace.